Hello everybody, welcome back. It is time to do another sample section or selection. I haven't really apparently been terribly consistent with my titling of this particular bit. We'll see what happens. Anyway, it's time to keep chipping away at that big old pile of Kindle samples that I've got, so why don't we do that? The random list today gave me Tom Holt, Expecting Someone Taller. This cover tells me nothing. All right, it tells me almost nothing, right? We have this little person, looks like a woman, looking at what looks like a very quickly drawn cover picture of a book, upon which is said, "Once upon a time." Okay. All right. So it tells me, all right. The cover tells me two things that I can pick out. Number one, disappointment, right? The title itself, Expecting Someone Taller. So you like when you meet a celebrity, or if you finally meet your friend's significant other that they've been talking about, right? You have a picture in your head of what that person should be, and then you meet them, you go, "Oh, I thought you were going to be taller." Never say that out loud, by the way. They get very disappointed when you say that kind of thing out loud. And the second thing is the book, the Once Upon a Time books. Okay, this tells me it's going to refer to fairy tales of some sort, or it is a fairy tale, or operate by fairy tale logic or something. I don't know. So the cover gives me very little to work from. So I will read the sample and I will come back to you and let you know what I thought. Okay, well, it begins with a guy named Malcolm Fisher who is driving through, I think, England, and he runs over a badger, and the badger is very upset about this. Turns out that the badger is Ingolfi, the last of the frost giants, and he passes on these two magic items to Malcolm. One is a helmet, one is a ring. And he basically says that Malcolm is now the chosen one who's going to go break a curse. Odin's going to be after him to find these items, and it's kind of a story, it sounds like, based off of Wagner's Ring cycle. And in fact, the frost giant slash badger does go through a pretty detailed rendering of the story of Siegfried and the ring and all that other good stuff that I'm not personally familiar with because I'm not really an opera person. All I know is that there is a magic ring that everybody sings real loud, and it probably ends very badly because in my head that's what opera is. But yeah, he is given a quest. He's given this helmet. He's given this ring. He's given some superpowers. He can disguise himself with these items. He can teleport wherever he wants, which is pretty cool. I'd love to have both of those. That'd be really neat. And we know that, yeah, Odin is after him, presumably for these objects. That's all I really know. That's all the sample is really giving me. So in terms of the writing and the vibe of it all, it does feel like Holt is trying to occupy that space that has been forged out by, say, Douglas Adams, right, or Terry Pratchett. It has that kind of dry, kind of British sense of humor that we would expect from those authors, and I can see what he's doing. Maybe I don't know. Maybe when I was younger and less sort of dead inside, I might have laughed out loud in some of these parts. I don't know. I didn't now. I found them amusing. I did the internet chuckle, right? Which is essentially the LOL, the reality of LOL. But yeah, it looks fun. It looks like it might be nice. I'm uncommitted. Would I buy it and read it? Sure, I guess. This is the most on the fence I've been about any book that I've done for the sample selection so far. A lot of the books that we've read so far, or the samples that we've read so far, I've been like, yes, absolutely, I would love to buy it and read it. This one, I'm sure. I would give it a chance, because again, I can see what Holt is doing. Holt is pulling from established myth and legend, and of course, operatic tradition with the ring cycle of Wagner. And he's putting all of this stuff in the hands of a normal guy, right? Malcolm Fisher. Malcolm Fisher, as far as I know from the sample, has nothing extraordinary about him. He's not an important person. He's not a prophet or a chosen one. He's just a guy who was unlucky enough to hit a badger who was actually a frost giant. How many times has that happened to you? Come on. So I can see what Holt is doing, and I think it's a fine approach. I think it's an idea that I think could work. Am I excited about reading it? Sure. I would like to read it. It would be a nice, maybe like airplane read, or beach read. Now, I could be wrong, right? If you have read this book, if you read this book or any of other Holt books, because I'm not familiar with Holt at all, and you think that I have no idea what I'm talking about and no idea what I'm getting into yet, please let me know, right? If I am judging this sample perhaps a little too harshly, and it's interesting that my version of harsh is but if I'm judging this sample a little too harshly, please tell me. I want to be corrected because I want to enjoy every book that I read, and I want to believe that I have a decent enough taste to download Kindle samples of cool books. So I understand what Holt is trying to accomplish. I think he'll probably pull it off. I expect that our main character, Malcolm Fisher, I have to keep looking at the name because I can't remember. I expect that Malcolm Fisher is going to go through a lot of wacky misunderstandings. If Holt can rise to the level of a Douglas Adams or a Terry Pratchett, then I will be very, very impressed. And I will continue to read more of his books. So we shall see. Again, I have such high standards for this, though. Such high standards. Hitchhiker's Guide, Dirk Gently, Discworld. These are really hard marks for any author to hit. So we shall see. We shall see. But in the meantime, I think that's it. That is my sample for today. We will continue to, I will continue to collect Kindle samples. If you've got anything that, having heard a bunch of them now that you think I would like and add to the list, please let me know. But yeah, I will see you all next time for the next Kindle sample. We'll see what gets thrown our way. All right? Have a good one.